So before we get on to the main topic, I guess want to just mention the Sony Uncharted 4 success. Sold like 2.7 million units apparently in a week, in its first week, which, especially for PS4 and a Sony exclusive, that's like huge.
That's the best for the series, I would think.
That's the highest selling for the series, I think, already, and already the highest selling PlayStation exclusive first-party game, if not exclusive.
I think Uncharted 2 is in early 3 millions.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be higher than that.
No, it was the box I have says over 2 million sold. Like they're bragging about that. So
interesting.
Really? I know VG Charts isn't the best, but I remember seeing 3.
But it's
3
good.
Million.
It's good that people didn't buy the Nathan Drake collection like a lot of people thought. They thought that was a sign that Uncharted 4 wouldn't sell. And obviously, they just wanted a new version.
Playing old games.
Yep.
I'm a little surprised because, like, we kind of talked about it. I felt like they weren't really marketing or advertising.
Oh, dude, I see it every commercial break, and I watch a lot of TV.
Yes, and I don't watch TV, so that's probably.
Oh, I was wrong. Uncharted 2 went on to sell 6.7 million.
Oh yeah, okay.
That sounds more right.
That's right. That makes sense. Yeah, 6 million.
What about 1 and now? I'm curious about 1 and 3.
3 was 6.8, and 1. What was 1 called?
6.8. Ooh, way off.
That was just called Uncharted.
Drake's Fortune.
I stopped looking at their,
almost 5 million. So.
Okay.
Even the Vita one sold like almost 2 million, which is.
That was the reason to buy a Vita when it first came out. That was the only reason I wanted one. I was like, oh,
yeah, that's the reason I wanted one. Right? That's why I want it now. It's because Uncharted on there.
It's like I really just want that one game.
But you can get that Vita. Can't you get that? What is it called? A PlayStation TV or whatever? You can play it on that.
PS TV.
And it's really cheap. A lot cheaper
it's like
than
$100.
But it wasn't a very good game. I played it, so.
Oh, really?
It's pretty terrible.
Bummer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it didn't.
Oh, but you don't like Uncharted, so.
It didn't feel like. It felt like a tech demo, early tech demo, alpha build.
I like how that's gonna be a running thing now. Every time she talks about.
Disclaimer: he doesn't really like Uncharted, so.
It's like that's serious anyway.
I said if with a good controller, it would probably be a really good game.
Well, that doesn't help it because that's the only controller you play with.
Like
good point.
A tech demo like Steel Diver was back on the 3DS.
Oh no!
No.
Those, we don't talk about those sounds, right?
I do think that I think Uncharted 4 is going to keep selling though, man. That's good to know that it started so well, because the buzz is like really strong for it, deservedly, and I think it's. And
so will they make another one?
PS4s, so.
I was happy to hear that you said there's way less shooting, even though Robert didn't make it sound like that when he described it.
Oh, bro.
No, I always said there wasn't. I said that's why I always said that my least favorite parts are like the shooting, and that's at least not all of the game. You get what I mean? Like.
Yeah, but you didn't say it was way less than Uncharted 2, like Rob said.
Is it? I mean,
I think it's significantly less.
He's the better Bob.
Well, I know Robert didn't even like Uncharted 2 as much.
But I don't know, Rob.
I did beat the game though, so I don't know.
Rob hated Uncharted 3.
I did play the game.
Favorite.
Yeah.
And then Rob told me Uncharted 2 was 95% gameplay, 5% cinematics, and I feel it was more like 80-20. So there's all kinds of different perspectives going on.
There's a lot of cinematics in Uncharted.
There's a lot of cinematics too.
I think Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 4 probably have the least amount of cinematics that I remember.
Well, I think that Uncharted 4, the beginning is a lot of cinematics though. It's almost because remember a lot of like at least the first 4 chapters, you're like swimming and then you're putting crates in the thing.
That sounds like fun.
And then
that boating sequence looks completely like you barely control anything.
And then the next one you're just.
It's not as fun as that forklift section in Shenmue, but.
And then like the next chapter you're just like walking and giving her food, and then you play Crash Bandicoot. Like it's not as.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, and then once you get to like chapter like 6, I think that's when they finally get it. No, that's not true because they also have the Hector one. So
see, I felt like there was a really good amount of game. I wasn't feeling like I was having my hands too held by the story early on, but I will say I mean, and this is just me. I like this about Uncharted, so this might be the kind of thing that turns other people off. Maybe you, Juice. But I was just so into how the game was starting and the story that was being fed to me when it happened.
Me too.
I know you liked it, so maybe I just didn't notice it as much. But there is no doubt that Uncharted 4 has like vastly overwhelming on the gameplay side. There's a lot of gameplay, and there hasn't been that many gunfights.
Can you imagine like? Playing this epic game where it starts off and your dad is murdered in front of you, and you want to get revenge on the guy, and you go through, you're learning all these cool Virtua Fighter type moves, and you're learning all this cool stuff, and you're getting closer and closer to fighting the guy, and then there's a section in the game where you have to work at driving a forklift for 5 in-game days. Talking about bogging your fucking experience down.
It's an important part of the character development.
Oh my gosh.
It's so funny.
But why do people want more Shenmue then, man?
Because they haven't played that game, and they haven't gotten that far. That's why.
They wanted another exclusive, is what.
Right.
Oh yeah, all I hear is I want Shenmue.
Shenmue was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but it does have those kind of.
I mean,
I played it.
A lot of great games have imperfections. Like we talked about this the last time I was on a podcast. There's a lot of games that I would even say are 10s out of 10s that have flaws, and Uncharted 2 is even one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I wonder, when's the last time you played Uncharted 2?
Still love it though.
That's a good question, Juice. I would probably say 4 years ago, probably a while.
Wow, really?
I'd be
played
curious to get your thoughts.
I played like 7 months ago, and it wasn't as fun. I do remember like the controls annoying me here and there, and some of that spongy stuff he was talking about annoying me.
Jesus.
But I still thought it was an awesome game.
I'm telling you, Uncharted 3 is better, people.
Man, you need to go sit down somewhere with that.
Uncharted 1, my ranking is 4, 3, 1, 2.
Whoa.
Oh, that would be like someone telling, and I mean, you have the right to your opinion, so that I'm glad someone likes Uncharted 3. But that's like, I equate that to someone saying that Empire Strikes Back is the worst Star Wars movie. Like, that's what that sounds like to me.
What?
Oh yeah, and that's like, no, that's just like the opposite of true. Although here's what I will say though, I will agree with you in one thing, Robert, and I can now comfortably say this. Yes, I think Uncharted 4 is better than Uncharted 2, which I did not expect. So
I can't remember. Had I beat the game on before last week's podcast? Because the ending wasn't nearly as bad as you guys made it sound.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
You had to shoot the little glow.
The blue things, and then he's
what was worse was trying to run the bridge afterwards, and I died probably 15, 16 times.
Sure.
Oh, you're talking about the boss fight?
Yeah, the boss fight didn't bother me. It was this bridge run with these forced camera, and
no, I didn't think it would bother you. I just thought it was monotonous and stupid.
And it came out of nowhere.
Run around in circles.
It was dumb, but it wasn't as bad as I expected.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with that, and like we were talking about it, and you said, the controls suck, the shooting stuff sucks, and it's not bad. It's a 7 out of 10. You'd probably get it, and like. My whole thing is, I still stand by how much I love that game and how great I thought it was when it came out, but I would tell anyone if they were going to play it today, and I think we talked about this, like, I would not expect anyone who played that game today for the first time to think it's a 10 out of 10. Like, it's not a 10 out of 10 after time, just like Ocarina of Time.
I was going to say, go play Ocarina of Time and then tell me.
Yeah. And so
but back then, I mean, I still play Gears of War, and it controls 3 times as good, if not more. Like,
sure. I mean, I'm just gonna chalk that up to just different gameplay styles and different levels of depth. I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
You also got to factor in different controllers.
I would say that Super Mario Galaxy is still a 10 out of 10 in my book, and that came out almost 10 years ago.
I agree with that.
Oh my God, that hurts.
Is that 10 years ago? Is exactly
almost
2007.
9 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
that scaring me, dude.
And today is Super Mario Galaxy.
Late 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Today, people, today.
Yep, I was in Colorado. I bought that, and it's not Best Buy, but it's a chain that's in the West of electronics, TVs, video games. Maybe Rob can help me.
There was a Media Play for a long time?
It might have been Media Play.
Radio Shack.
Radio Shack, Circuit City for a while.
No, it was Media Play. And I got
Software, etc.
No, it was Media Play. I got Galaxy 2.
Oh, it was Media Play. Okay.
Brand new on the day it launched. They had it mismarked at $39.99.
Wow.
You're like, bitches, honor this price tag.
And I remember going there because it was like 3D TVs were just starting to hit store demos and stuff.
Oh my God! In 2007 or 2009?
Galaxy 2.
2010, people. 2010.
or
Yeah,
2010.
that's when that Avatar game
Avatar
came out.
in 2009.
In the movie and the game, which was gorgeous, but it was complete trash to play.
But
But
talk about
advertised it.
a single thing like how Mario 64 made analog sticks like the thing. Avatar made 3D a huge
Avatar.
thing back in the day.
For a long time, yeah.
Now they don't. Now they have TVs that don't even have it because it's so
Yeah.
unused. I don't even use it, and I have it. So
There's still 3D movies being played, but it's not
still
the
like
fervor that it was back then.
I think when the Avatar sequels come out, maybe they'll have a resurgence, but we'll have to see. But just one last thing on Uncharted. I forgot to mention this. When I was really frustrated, it was in the temple right before the end, and you're like navigating this temple. It's an outdoor kind of, I don't know what else to call it, but and I was at a point where I'd climbed up and then I had dropped down and is it Elena? What's the chick's name?
Probably.
Elena,
Well,
the wife.
Chloe.
Yeah. No, not Chloe. She wasn't there.
Chloe,
Yeah,
Elena.
Elena's the blonde hair.
Oh, so
And
you're
you're
with the
in
bad
like basically like what would have been like a brick tower, and then there's a bridge out in front. So I can't go backwards, I can't go up, and there's just across the bridge. There's places to take cover. There's like 5 guys up above. There's a guy with the RPG. To the left, a guy with the sniper, and to the right, another guy. And that RPG guy would just assault you. And as soon as it hit near you, you'd get thrown off, and the camera would pan out, and you'd have to like pick yourself off the ground. And while you're doing that, 3 guys progress like real close to you, and then a guy would get close enough to instigate a quick close quarters combat, which you can't get out of. And meanwhile, everyone's shooting you, and you're stuck in this close quarters combat.
Oh yeah, that's
I
And you
hate
die.
that.
I died like
hate
that 5 or 6 times in a row. I was so pissed. And the guy that got close had a shield. And finally, I just quickly took out the RPG guy, and I picked up a shotgun, and I like got him on the ground so that he wasn't walking towards me, and I started shooting other people. But it was one of those game design flaws where it's in a spot where no matter, as soon as you start, you're like getting assaulted. And I know there's been games long before this game that did that, and it's just like I wish they would have just gave me a little bit more setup, not
like breathing room.
not have the save point right here in this frustrating part that is nearly.
That's weird. I can't remember a spawn point that would be, and because there are problems with the firefights in all of the Uncharted games. I think that's always been the glaring flaw with these otherwise perfect games, in my opinion. But I can't think of where especially in Uncharted 2. Here's what I will say though, Juice, is that I want you to imagine the frustration you had with that gunfight, and imagine that tenfold and like a lot more often, and that's what Uncharted 3 was for me. That was why I struggled with that game so much. And I know, dude.
You can throw grenades back, though.
Do what?
You can throw grenades back.
Yeah, you're able to throw grenades back.
I mean, you're talking about the bullet sponge thing, like the enemies and whatnot.
But
what about like when your co-op character, your AI character, taking all kinds of bullets too?
A grenade to the face.
I will give him credit.
Just like chilling.
Your AI character will, after like 15 bullets, kill somebody.
Yeah.
In some games, they never kill anybody. You have to.
And I'll tell you what, that's actually improved in Uncharted 4. The AI person who's
I watched some gameplay where they
wow, it's crazy. Like they are really good. Like they will legitimately save your ass. They're not just killing people. They will save you from death.
That's great.
You'll actually team up on them while you're fighting them. It's really cool.
Yeah,
that's what games should be trying to do, that kind of stuff.
Very true. Now, Juice, I have a really important question for you, though, when it comes to this, because this was your first Uncharted. You're a big fan of the Tomb Raider reboot, which was kind of made because of how good Uncharted games have been seen by most of gamers. Mm-hmm. So I will always admit and acknowledge some of the control problems and the bullet sponge issues and the gunfight problems with Uncharted, but the real secret sauce to Uncharted and why people have been loving it for so long is the story, and more than that, it's Nathan Drake. So I'm curious on your take.
Nathan Drake is the man.
I said this last week, but I'll reiterate.
Oh, okay, yeah.
First off,
what's your thoughts?
The Uncharted 2 story, to me, was like a Michael Bay movie. Not because of the bad acting and bad direction, but just the ridiculousness of constantly everything going wrong. It felt like watching...
But that's good
I know,
for a game.
Yeah,
not for a movie.
That's like a
watch that movie, but
pet peeve of mine for movies, and when you take that into the cinematics of a game, it doesn't change anything. It still annoys the piss out of me. Like it's so facepalm to me. So I couldn't get wrapped up into the action, but I like the general idea of the treasure hunt thing. But it's like, how many times can you be next to a wall and a tank shell explodes and knocks him over, and he just gets right back up? Like, to me, I just can't. That's not my thing. That's not my type of action. I like a little more smart, a little more
those
Winter Soldier, like spy, like
you tripping,
good
man.
action.
That's
You tripping, man.
And same way with Tomb Raider. I mean, how many times could she fall so far through stuff and survive? And that really took me out of the Tomb Raider story.
It's a video game.
You realize you're playing a video game, right?
I know, but
that's when you
it's
got to
a
remind
movie.
yourself it is a video game. But it's not really a movie. It's
Uncharted
a game that's...
2 is a movie. Like, you have
Here
to
comes
me,
Grandpa Juice, y'all.
the gameplay is filler to get you to the next cinema.
It's a video game.
That's how it feels. It doesn't feel like a video game. It feels like,
Sorry,
oh, we'll throw in some gameplay to get you to the next story.
It's
Like,
interesting. I see
how it
what you're
felt.
saying, and I will agree that's, there's a lot of that's true with the older games, mostly 2 and 3, and to a bigger degree 3. 1 is a lot of gameplay, and I will say that 4 also fixes that problem. It's so much gameplay, and
I
doesn't
believe it
feel
because I
like
like
has
The
that.
Last of Us. The Last of Us was amazing. So
Yeah, it's Uncharted 4 is much more of a Last of Us kind of structure, with still that Uncharted story, the exploration, and that wonderful badass Nathan Drake character. So that's,
Well, that's
that's
what I've been
really...
saying.
See, I like those moments because after you've been running from bullet sponge fight, gunfight to bullet sponge gunfight, it's nice to have a little mix-up, where you're falling through a train and all that kind of stuff like that.
yeah, I did like the train sequence was really cool, and other than it made aiming even more impossible, but I still liked it.
It's a challenge, yeah.
And
Well,
like,
I mean,
You don't like a challenge? You don't like challenge?
other than Nathan Drake having some witty lines here or there, like, I'm more interested in Lara Croft, especially in the newer game, like her relationship with her father, and like how she talks to herself at new save points. You'll get some more story. Like, to me, that's a little more
That's
interesting.
great and all,
But she's not a good, like, she's not making me laugh, and she doesn't have
but
that
I don't think
the
it's
other
about...
characters, though. I think the other characters in Tomb Raider are weak. Like, that's
I
my
agree.
problem with Tomb Raider. Like, if
Yeah,
you
well,
had
Sully,
more compelling-
Elena, way better.
And
Yeah,
Chloe.
the cast of characters is good, and I love Chloe. I like
right, it's a good bunch, and they work well together. Like, not so much in Tomb Raider. It's just like,
Tomb Raider was
like...
lame. The characters were lame in the first one,
Yeah.
but the gameplay was so good. It just made
the
me feel
gameplay
like
is amazing.
made me
so.
feel like I was
Definitely
playing
agree with that.
Metroid and that style of game.
See, and it's different. I mean, what Tomb Raider did is it took what Uncharted did, and it made a sandbox game, which again we've had to acknowledge. Like, the Uncharted games are absolutely not sandbox; they don't try to be. And with Lara Croft, it's tough because I love the old Lara Croft. I do like the new one, but I also find her to be really bland. So you talk about how, like, Nathan Drake has the one-liners and stuff, which he does, but I've always found he has more charisma, and he has like actual personality, and Lara really doesn't have much of that, I don't think. At least
even
in the
that
first game.
polygonal blocky one, she had more. It felt like she had more character. More
She was
charisma.
so great. Her shit talking and her quips.
Yeah,
and
I wish she was a little bit like that, but I think
come back. I know this is like Tomb Raider Begins. I get it.
Yeah.
Like Batman Begins.
This is Tomb Raider doesn't have fun, is what it is.
I would put the
she's
acting
a bit
performance.
brooding.
I put her acting performance right there with Nolan North as far as just,
and I'm glad you said that. I was gonna say that. The thing is, though, like I said earlier, it's the overall production. Like those Uncharted motion caps and all that stuff. That's almost like Hollywood movie status. To where they, I don't know if you've ever seen like the behind the scenes stuff on that. Like they go all out on that stuff, and that's why it's so much better and the characters interact so well.
Take half that budget and put it towards the gameplay and
programming. Grandpa Juice.
Oh man.
Well, I think that I'm telling you, as someone coming off of a really bad taste in my mouth with the Uncharted series, like, I cannot praise what they've done with 4 enough. Like, it has surprised me. Literally, it surprised me because I had those couple of doubts. And T, I'll even tell you, because of how you share the Uncharted fanship with me, and you even also didn't like 3, there is no doubt in my
Yeah.
mind that you will fall to your knees and praise Uncharted 4. It is worth your PS4 purchase, dude. Like, it's that good. I promise
Wow.
you, it's that good.
Well, yeah. I've been looking at PS4s, so
They really Naughty Dog has impressed me more now than they almost ever have. Even though I still think Last of Us is their best game, it's definitely better than even Uncharted 4 for me personally. How they've grown and what they are able to accomplish, like they stand to me toe to toe with Nintendo in terms of the quality and how much time and effort and energy they put into it, and like the resulting product. I know you can use that all you want, but I just
Yeah.
the
I
difference
think on
is
a
that,
technical level, but as far as a
Yeah.
gameplay level, I don't think.
yeah, but that's the
They're
thing is there's a
close.
lot that goes into a game. So the difference is
course.
Nintendo has a lot of variety and creativity. Naughty Dog doesn't have that, but the execution is just as top notch as what Nintendo does, and I think they deserve credit for that. So
oh,
Yeah.
no doubt.
yeah,
And the reason I like The Last of Us is it had a more grounded story. It wasn't just cheesy action. If Uncharted 2 would have been self-aware, I'd be right there with you guys. But I think they honestly think they outdid Hollywood with that movie. Like I don't know that for a fact, but that's the feeling I got the whole time I played. It's like
I think they were chasing it. Yeah,
I think they think they're better than Hollywood right now. Instead of making fun of action scenes that are ridiculous. Like how many times did a character jump a huge gap that would have been their death and get caught by Nathan Nathan got caught by somebody. I think it happened probably 7 times in the game.
it happens in all of them.
And that's kind of my
And it's like make fun of that and I'm there. I'm right with
Yeah.
you.
I agree with that actually.
with the movie, like if they how is the movie gonna compare? Is it gonna work? Because I think the games are already a better movie than the movie will ever be. Like I don't know what they're gonna do.
Movie wasn't that greenlit too?
Yep.
Oh man, it kind of was, but I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening with either of those, Uncharted and Last of Us.
Well, Uncharted comes out next month, not next
Next month.
next year in May or July or
Really?
something.
That
Is
movie?
it?
Yeah.
Hopefully it looks better than
2017.
I knew it
I
was
don't think
close.
that's even in production. I thought.
No,
that
yeah.
got-
Like if you go on
Is
any
Mark
website,
Wahlberg still Nathan Drake?
No, they never confirmed that though.
Well, they have to have somebody.
For a while, David O. Russell was directing it, and Mark Wahlberg was the guy. Like it was like
I've never-
confirmed. they were
I-
Why don't they
doing
just
it.
make Nolan North? Because he
They should
looks
do
exactly like the
CGI.
guy.
They should do
Yeah.
CGI. They should do
And
CGI.
just- no, they don't
No,
No, then what's the point of that?
They don't have to
already
do
have
that. Do what they do to Tom Cruise and make him look taller. Like that's, I mean,
Yeah.
because he's a short guy. I think that's the only, that's the only
Yeah.
reluctance
Or
to
just
cast
cast
him.
other short people around him. Like you can do that.
Well, they don't have
Yeah.
a single
No, you put
person.
him on an Apple box like they do Tom Cruise and
Yeah.
make him taller.
They
What
don't
do
have
they do to
anything
Tom
other than
Cruise, Tyler?
screenplay credit.
There's this box in film production called an Apple box. It's basically like a wooden box used for everything. They use for everything, and sometimes they'll put an actor on it, just look taller to stand next to another character and stuff, and make them
Really?
taller.
Yeah, they don't have a single actor listed, and the movie's 2017, and they just have some screenwriters, producers, and that's it. It's like how
Yeah.
can you
There's
have
no way
It's not
coming
coming
out
out
next
next year.
no way.
way.
or if it does,
Sorry to squish
so
your brain,
bad.
Robert. It's just
No, but
not.
I listen. I
All right,
don't
we gotta
want a
move on.
live
I
action.
really
I
want
want a
this late.
CGI.
Yeah.
we got I'm either gonna have to skip Q&A or skip the censorship discussion. So
No, let's move it.
what do you guys want to do? Because I gotta
I don't
text
know.
one of them.
I don't know.
Well, I mean that is kind of the topic.
Yes.
That is
All right,
kind
we
of
better
the
the whole
finish
point
the
of the
intro.
podcast.
We might have to do 2 weeks in a row without questions. So
Oh, bummer, man.
censorship.
Bomberman.
That could be brought back.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here's the approach I want to take, because a lot of people they focus on Nintendo, obviously, because they